can't stand no more, cause no more food. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. I can't stand no more, cause no more food. I cannot go to school, cause no more money. Hey yo, excuse me, Mr. Journalist. I wonder how you make your headlines in the press release today. Although I read the news every day, but I'm really still getting confused now. And I just wanna ask you some questions. Oh, is it based on money? Is it based on presidency? Is it based on technology? Is it based on war?
Going deal pleasant good evening from Liberia. We like to say welcome to today, November 13th edition of the Roundtable. My name is William McGill, and it's a great pleasure to be here tonight. As we come on to talk about issues that matter most to our country, Liberia. Again, we'd like to welcome all of you to this weekend presentation because today is Thursday. We comes on Tuesday, Thursday. We live on YouTube, we live on Facebook, and all you need to do is to follow, share this live broadcast as we go ahead with our discussion. We apologize for coming in late, where people are returning the upgrade in the system. It comes in very tight, and we had to adjust to that. So let me say good evening to you, Mr. Abu, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, William. How are you? I hope you're having a great day there in Monrovia. I see a lot of activities today in Monrovia. The buses presented, people being evicted, and all of this. But those are all training events. And I hope that everything went well with you. And sorry we're coming on late. My name is Samuel Abu, and we're here on Waste TV. We're going to be here presenting you the best of our opinions on various issues. And I think today we have a guest, and here we talk about it later.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abu, for coming on. And let me just run with our discussion point. Again, sorry that we come in late. StreamYard had a new system that I had to figure it out just in a little time. It was a bit tougher. But again, it's good we here, and we are basically going to be talking to Abel. Abel is from Bixer Production. He's the owner. He's one of the biggest CEO right now. So Bixer Production is involved into video production as well. Abel going to talk about a project that will be premiered anytime next month in the US, and it's a Liberian owned project. We talk about that with Abel. We also going to look at the eviction process there at Red Light today. We're going to look at the or buses that were being dedicated today by the Liberian leader Joseph Boakai as well. So let's say that is all we have, Mr. Abu. And let's say good evening to you, Abel, and welcome to the roundtable.
Good evening, and thank you very much for having me today, Mr. Samuel. William, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Abel. You say you have what we call the Vixer production. Is that how we pronounce it? Vixer?
Bixer Production.
Okay. So how were you? I guess you're having a nice time.
Yeah, I'm good. Can't complain. Just, a lot of work here and there.
I see you well dressed. It looks like the weather is changing a little bit to where you are.
Yeah, it's a little bit cold. We're approaching winters now, so yeah, it gets a little bit chilly around this time.
Okay. So just tell me a little about this Vixer production.
Bixer Production is a media team that cater from wedding, corporate, and film. So we do write about every other events you can think about. We do photographs and videos services, both like weddings, birthday events, corporate interviews, commercial promos, and also now we're merging into short films and feature films.
Well, when you talk about corporate, does that mean that you also have a studio?
Correct. Yes, we do have a studio.
And where is the studio based?
It's based in Philadelphia.
Oh, in Philadelphia. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any connection with Liberia? Do you do some things back in Liberia too?
Not currently. I am looking to do some work back in Liberia, hopefully by next year. But I work closely with William on some other projects that we have with artist Yo QB.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. That's very good. So, how long you been in this Victor business?
For as long as I believe since 2017, I've
20.
started. Yeah,
That's
2017. Yeah, started with just working in the church with doing videos in the church, and then slowly migrated from there doing promo videos for a hair salon and doing weddings and taking pictures here and there, and slowly migrated from there. And we always wanted to tell a story, always wanted to film a movie, but it was more so about how we're going to get there. And obviously, most of the time, these things require funds. So in order to do that, we had to do gigs here and there, like photo shoots or weddings, to get these revenues to then put towards the film projects.
so. How is it like? Is this actually a one-man business, or you have a whole
Oh
team?
no! So we do have a team. It's not a one-man business. We do have a team that support in their own perspective area. So we have someone who will just do location scoutings, who do have connections. So if we were to say we need a particular space, like a bar, for example, to film a scene for one of the shorts that we did about 2 years ago, he actually had connections for those guys already. So we reached out to the restaurant to see if we can use that bar they had to film that particular scene, and we're able to gain access. And then we have someone who actually take care of the storyboard, who take care of the continuity, the script when we film it, just to make sure each and everything, dialogues to actions that's on the script, is followed to the T. So these guys handle that, and we have BTS to where they film everything that we do behind the scenes. And we have this clip that are posted on YouTube, that are posted on Facebook, that are posted on Instagram. So we have a team that's very efficient. Everybody comes together, again, to make that one body of Vixen.
And you do have a YouTube page.
Correct. Yes, we do. And it's Bixer Production on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook, on Twitter as well too. And then on TikTok is Bixer Proud.
Okay. So how is it like in the United States, as wide as it is? You say you also do weddings. Do you travel from state to state? How do you manage getting in contact with these people, especially when you will have to do, let's say, a photo shoot? And most of the time, weddings in the United States, all of the actors are not in one state. Sometimes people traveling in last minute to time, people pulling out. How do you normally work along with that?
Right. So when it's weddings, if it's out of state, obviously the client take care of most of the billings. So from travel to stay, and everything is within the contract. Before we have a consultation with the client, let them understand what obviously everything entails from the package that they're getting. So package is varies based on the client needs. So it could be like they just want ceremony, and from ceremony to reception, or the one like the full package, which would be considered the full day, to where it's from the getting ready to the reception. So we do the getting ready, the hotel, makeup, getting dressed, and everything, and then we goes to the ceremony, the pastor, the officiate the wedding, and then we go to the reception to where everybody party and things like that. So once that obviously is within the package, if we're traveling out, they take care of our travel, our tickets and stuff like that to go out of state. If it's nearby within the tri-state area, we in Philadelphia, if it's in New York, we travel by car, and we either waive the price for travel or we include that. Depends on how consultation goes with the client. So anywhere within the tri-state area, Delaware, New York, or New Jersey, I typically don't charge my clients, and I will typically just drive there and take care of that. But we have to go out with Texas, Austin, or Minneapolis, Minnesota. Typically, the clients will have to be responsible for our ticket sales. When it comes to our movie, when we send out the casting call, we are aware of our talent's location, and we budget for those. So for the latest film we recently did, which is airing it's premiering December 13th. We had a talent that was in North Carolina, and we compensated her for a travel to come down here. So every time she had to come down here, we pay for her travel, and we pay for our stay as well too. So we keep that in mind too. Every time we do recruit any talent for a film, wherever they're coming from, we just got to make sure that is within budget and we can handle those. And also, there is a possibility of those actors, those set talents not being available, like you said. And if that was to ever happen, we do have redundancy in place to where, okay, we can obviously go back to the casting call and post that back onto the online forum and let everybody know, hey guys, these we are actually expecting this actor to come through and they fall short of their duty and we like to recast for this position. And as vast as the acting community is or the filmmaking community is, there's always people who are looking to hop onto the next project, who's always looking to opportunity to broaden their talent, broaden their reach, their network and whatnot. So it's always not as easy, but it's very manageable to where you can definitely find the talents that you may possibly need.
Do you normally have people coming to you to do voicing and other things just to be part of the talent?
Not directly. At times when we post, when we promote what we do have people who reach out to us via Instagram or Facebook and they let us know, hey, I would like to be a part of this. Keep me in mind for this next time. So we do have that. And at times when we are casting for our next project, we will go ahead and I specifically will reach out to these individuals and let them know, hey, we're actually casting for this movie within 2 weeks time. I'm going to be posting a casting call, but I will send it to you since you have shown interest in playing in casting for a role. I'll send it over to you. You take a look and see if any one of these role actually relates to you that you can actually, cast for. So I would typically do that ahead of time before I even post it out to the forum, to the film community.
Now, this thing that is coming up on December 13, tell me about it. What's going on?
Right. So the other side is it started back in 2018, and it was written over and over again to what is now the other side that we're premiering for December 13th. My cousin actually presented a project back to me in 2018, 2019. We shot it, but it didn't come out as what we wanted it to be. The dialogue wasn't as enriched and it didn't evoke the emotions we needed it to evoke. So we went back to the drawing board again. So instead of just releasing the project because we shot it, I'd rather just release a quality work than just keep pumping out quantity of work and stuff out there. So we went back to the drawing board, take a look at it, see what better we can do. I had one of my buddies who's a great screenwriter, Christopher Mendez. He actually helped me wrote a portion of it, which was almost about half of it. And we took care of the rest when we couldn't reach out to him anymore. We did. And essentially the other side is about two individuals who's actually fighting for their freedom. So worldwide, I would assume, or I would like to assume, that men are not, or it is the norm that men are not known to show their emotions as such. And there are a lot of abuse within relationship that will come from women at times towards the man being the victim, but we don't see much of that, especially living in the United States. And because the society always sees men as obviously the protector, the head of the household, and he's supposed to be very strong. He's supposed to have this presence that he cannot be taken over by a woman. But obviously, there are things that actually do happen that cause these situations to happen. And now, within the other side, we see Jonah on the left and then Lydia on the right. We see the other side of things. Now, we see the other side of the man actually being the victim of domestic abuse, being a victim of manipulation, of harassment. So we see all these things now, but from the other side of the coin, and not just from a female perspective, but from a male perspective as well too. We see the trauma that he went through in his past that make him who he is today. So many of these things we feel to discuss that sometimes becomes a taboo about mental health that we feel to go into. We feel to discuss with the person. We feel to check up on the person. We feel to look at the person as who they are and actually acknowledge them for that strength. And, again, that growth areas to where they actually bring forward and just look at them at, you're a man, you're supposed to be able to handle that. You're a man. You're supposed to be able to overpower her. You're a man. You're supposed to be able to do this. You're supposed to be able to do that. But that's not really the case all the time. And that's what we really explore to the other side. We explore that breaking of the chain, that breaking of freedom to actually cast away to move aside. And then we see obviously the light and the day, the yin and the yang, to where there's light and there's darkness within, again, the film of the other side.
So
Quickly,
this is about trying to break a culture of where in our own society where people say, look, be a man, you be a man. So therefore, when you are even struggling or you're even going through some emotional constraints, you still have to hide that emotion and come out. This is what your whole film is supposed to be depicting.
Correct. Yeah, it's all about reclaiming yourself. Yes.
Will, you want to ask him some questions?
yeah. So, Abel, I've been
Yeah.
following this project, and I must admit that you guys put in a lot of work to come this far. Now, what are some of those challenges, especially you, a film producer there in the U.S.? What are some of the challenges in terms of getting such a project coming to reality?
Thanks. That's actually a really great question. There are many challenges that we face from pre-production to production. During pre-production, obviously, we did our very best to make sure we had everything prepped up, everything good to go. There was one portion of the film to where we needed, well, few portions of the film to where we needed a police vehicle, and we already went through the its and abouts to reaching out to the folks that we needed to reach out to. I reached out to the local chief of police in our district, spoke to him, meet up with him, and see how best we can have the local police support us with that. Unfortunately, that never came through. We reached out to uh, multiple individuals on the Facebook Marketplace to where they were leasing out or selling their police vehicles. Reach out to them to see how best we can have those vehicles as a picture, as a still in the film. And some of them agreed, some of them said they're going to get back, and to where we pinned it down to one person who agreed on the price and everything. And day of the shoot to actually come down to shoot, he never came back. He never responded to a message. He never responded to a call, and that was very devastating because at this point in time, we actually on set. We're rolling. Call time is set for 7 o'clock. We're shooting at 9 o'clock. This gentleman is nowhere to be hear from us seeing, and it's a disaster right now. So now is something that we either, okay, are we going to continue filming today? Are we going to shut down production and try to see if we can secure a police vehicle? Luckily, one of the crew member, crucial crew, Sandy, were able to use her vehicle for the police vehicle and just have the film take part in a different part of the world and not the United States per se, to where there's another vehicle that they use and not like the typical Ford Interception that they use here in the United States. So we end up using another vehicle for that. And we end up buying very quickly from Amazon some police lights to put on top of the car, headlights and stuff like that, just to go with the vibe of the police vehicle. So that was something we faced. We also had some challenges doing the casting to where some talents weren't forthcoming with what they said they were going to meet up with, expectation wise, and we had to cut them off and actually recast I believe 2 roles, if I'm not mistaken. And then there was some people dropping up as well towards Mr. Abu had actually mentioned early on. We have those stuff coming in, but we also have the contingency plan in place as well too, to make sure we can mediate these kind of things when it does happen, so it doesn't cause too much fuss for us during production. So throughout production, everything else was smooth. It went well. It went great, and I think from there was just so much as time and funds. Obviously, we went over our budget, but we're able to make sure we got back on track to where we was at.
Wow.
Now, what should the audience expect in terms of this movie premiere? I've been supporting the project, and I know it's about domestic violence, but what could you say to the audience in terms of what they should expect if they come in for this premiere?
Expect raw emotions, expect silence that speaks without words. Most of the time when we film, I try to see how best we can tell a story without the dialogue. We can tell a story without a person moving about here and there. To just tell a story with the expression on the face of the individual. That's really what we're trying to create. And to also have them understand that as a man giving into your emotions, as a man crying out for help is normal. It's not something that's a taboo that shouldn't be discussed. And it's going to be obviously the unexpected than what people should or will be thinking that they should be expecting. There's a lot of raw emotions within there. There's a lot of unexpected things that I didn't even see coming that happened in the film, because some of them was improvised while we're filming, and it was very shocking to me as it was to the other cast who was watching during the time of filming. So definitely expect some raw emotions going on. Definitely expect some silence that actually tell stories that are louder than words. And I hope really and truly that you guys love it when it does come out and you can relate and hopefully get some message out of that as well too.
Before he comes back in, I really want to ask, where do you expect your greater audience or target audience or viewers? Is it back in America or in Liberia and Africa?
Right now, as it is, it's currently in America to where we are advertised a lot more. And as time goes on, obviously, we have spoken with Willie over this. We're trying to broaden into the Liberian community. And there is obviously this stigma with Liberian as a whole. I'm not obviously going to getting much into it, but I will hope to break that to where if a brother or sister is out there is doing something greater good for the community as a whole, to be supported, to be seen, versus if he's already up there and then it's like a bandwagon to where people jump on to say, hey, I know him as a Liberian and why not. We're trying to break that barrier. We're trying to tell a story for what it really is, for people to see what really the story is and actually relate to it, because what we're doing right now, and I actually believe it is relatable. Read about everywhere in the world is very much relatable. So for Liberians out there, obviously, I definitely want this film to also settle in Liberia at some point. Majority of our audience over here are Liberian, I must say, because we are within the Liberian community. And as this film is actually very diverse and probably the first film yet that is as diverse compared to the others, to where we have different ethnicity and stuff like that are taking place within this film. So during the day of the premiere, I'm actually expecting to see very different sets of ethnic groups attend the premiere, to where, again, hopefully that will brought in the audience and the viewership of the other side.
Now, let's look at Liberia. I know you're a native Liberian, where the situation that you are trying to bring out really happens in Liberia, where we have a mindset, because I know you are trying to delve into this mindset that men should be strong, men are not the one who do this, men should not be weak, and all of these things. And that's more understandable and pursued in Liberia. As compared to the United States, we already have laws and policies, even at the workplaces, in the human service, where you look at everybody as a whole person. Because like in America, they will feel that, let's say, for example, sexual harassment, somebody will say that it is only men that harass women in the Liberian community, even though in the United States, we know that women can also harass the men, sexually. But so in the United States, they have laws and policies that deal with this. For Liberia, so I think sometimes marketing should sometimes start looking at the Liberian community, where people have all those kind of mindset that even when something is burning the man in his heart, he's draining, he's getting over some things, they just feel that he is always the one that is wrong. We have a lot of marriage breaks here in the United States, especially. And most of the time, the people put the problem on the man, that it is the man who is not doing this, he's supposed to be this. But when we come to America, you know, everybody take a piece of the pie. But in Liberia, they feel that it is the man who should be 100% providing for the home, you know, even though they are there. But I think you are presenting something. The Liberian market would be Target would be a very good place for this. So as we talk this, what do you intend to get out of the Liberian community, since you've already identified them as a majority of people? Are you going to do this premiere in churches, in Liberian gatherings, etc.?
So we actually plan to come to Liberia some part of next year, to where again, I'm discussing with Willie on this to see how best we're gonna have this showing in Liberia as well too. And I'm trying to, as much on my end, trying to see if I can reach out to some influencer within Liberia to see how best we can market this as well too. And as some of you may know, you can't just get a hold of these influencers in Liberia just like that. Because again, there's some people who really and truly believe that they're up there, whereas you over here, and you can't really like get with them. Unfortunately, that is the case, and that is the honest truth. But we are trying to obviously break that barrier, and that's one of the reasons why we over here at Big Sur Production have an open door policy, read about anybody who actually reach out to me or reach out to us and saying like, hey, you know, I definitely like to come and see how you guys do things. I'm always open to that opportunity, because there's something I could learn from them, and there's something they could learn from me as well too. So I take that as obviously you take, I take. So with the Liberian as well too, I'm definitely trying to push that in there, but I'm just want Liberia as a whole to have an open mindset with this process. And as we bring it for them to obviously see this in a light to where it's like they can recognize the trauma in a man as well as men can recognize the trauma in a woman, because these things can start from an early age that grows up, and we grow with it because we never really talk about it, and we hardly emphasize on mental health within Liberia. Hardly ever do we emphasize on mental health. Hardly do we ever talk about mental health in Liberia. And this is just something to open the doors to those kind of conversation, and even to the folks that have shown bits of the movie too, even at my workplace, they literally talk about this. I would never be this guy. Like, what is this guy doing? Like, I would never be him. He's this, he's that. Like, there's no way I would like a woman to put her hands on me. So it forces this uncomfortable conversation to come to life, to actually for us to talk about. And these conversations are rather healthy conversation, because it brings something out that you've been bottling up for such a long time. So again, hopefully that when we do start to premiere this film within Liberia or put it on platform to where it's accessible to majority of the Liberians or in Liberia, they're actually able to see the film for what it is, and hopefully get a thing or two, you know, out of the message that we're trying to promote.
You know, names make messages. So who are some of your casts that sometimes in this place, once you call the name, people will get attracted to your production?
So unfortunately for that, all the casts over here are not big names. I wish, but these are all local guys again.
But they do have communities. They do have.
They do have communities. They definitely do have communities, and that's the reason why I emphasize on the diversity of this cast. Because when we post it online, we are seeing vast majority of different ethnic group that actually coming towards the page to see what we got going on. So again, it's not just Liberians, is Caucasians, is Dominican, is Salvadoran, is Brazilian, Portuguese, and stuff like that. So there's different people of different ethnic groups and stuff like that that's actually following the progress on this film. And as we put out more stuff, as we market more, as we promote more with what we're doing, as we show behind the scenes of what we're doing, people are starting to be more attracted to the project, to see, again, follow the face to see, okay, how do you guys do it? I definitely want to stay in contact to see how to do it. So therefore, they start to follow the page, they start to follow what's called Instagram page, they start to follow TikTok, they start to follow Facebook to see what we're doing. Again, hopefully, this is something that again will be welcome in Liberia. They'll be welcome with the Liberian community to where they will be able to see these things out, even though they're not notable actors or actresses per se. This is something that will stir a conversation within Liberia. But as far as America goes, these fours are recognized within certain film groups that if once the project release, there's going to be a huge fan base towards that.
So where are you going to be selling your tickets, knowing that you only have 1 month remaining as of today?
So we're currently selling the tickets are currently on Eventbrite. As of now, there are currently 28 tickets left on sales. We have a total of just 150 seats that were available. And as of now, we do have 28 left, and there are a couple more that's going to be taken by the 15th of this month, which is few days from now. 15. We're going to sell a couple more tickets, and by the end of this month, honestly, I can say the ticket's going to be sold. The last premiere we did have was overbooked, and we had some people who again couldn't. There was not enough seating for them. We have to get more seating from elsewhere for them to have a seat. I personally wasn't sitting with a table because I couldn't. I needed to have everybody else say. So I believe that's something similar that may happen, but we're trying to be very straight with the number that we do have, and we're not trying to overcrowd the place. And again, we're just trying to keep it at a minimum as we can. So if these sort of people see it, obviously, once we start to release the film by next year, because now December 13th is just a premiere, there's not a release of the film. Because afterwards, if there's any mistake whatsoever that we see or any feedback that we get from what's the film, something that we can correct. If it's like a voice, we need to come back and do an ADR, which is recording within a studio and stuff like that. We have to do that voice over. We can easily go ahead and do that and then release the film for the following year, which of course we do intend to release it next year on Tubi, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV.
Wow. That's so great, man. With such a talent coming from our own community in Liberia, which Peter, that's such a great thing. I want to say congratulations to you, really, for the big job you're doing. Okay. So, William, you want him to say anything lastly before we go?
You're on mute.
You're muted.
Yeah, so finally, anything else you want to say, Abel, before we let you go? I know you're busy, man, CEO.
I would say thank you, obviously. Thank you so much for this opportunity to obviously feature the other side, also talk about the project in depth. I would definitely appeal to the Liberian community to definitely check us out. Obviously, it is not like a forced thing. If you relate to it, you relate to it. If not, you do not. But definitely check us out. We do plan on coming to Liberia within the next year. The first quarter of next year, we plan on being in Liberia to do some work, do some hopefully establish some good stuff down there as time goes on. So definitely keep a lookout on Big Sur Production and my personal page as well too. We'll be posting a lot of casting calls once we're down there in Liberia to where we try to do a production out there. So if you're interested in acting, if you're interested, being a talent, a background actor, whatever the case might be, a voice actor and things like that, a host, definitely reach out and let us know. But we will be posting some of these casting calls very soon for Liberia.
Okay, thank you so much, Abel, for honoring the invitation tonight. We hope to have you some other days as we talk about the growth and development of our country, Liberia, movie industry as well.
Thank you. I also want to say thank you to you, Ariel. That's a great venture you've undertaken. I know how expensive it is, and you just starting your little money you got. But sometimes it's good to start something. We pray that you will be growing into it, build a big community. And I don't see anything big about it. I think you have to really work hard, continue where you started from the church, from this and that. These are all going to be very great things to you, and you have an opportunity. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming on our show tonight, and I look forward to maybe viewing and seeing, because I'm not a cast, I can only view.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So he's Abel Yenkar there from Big Sur Production, and basically, we've been talking about his recent project. The project is The Other Side. Mr. Abu, should we take the president's speech from today's dedication? Then we can talk about that.
Yes, I know the president dedicated how many buses today? 32?
34,
30,
34 buses.
34, 34 buses. And that's quite a great thing and a boost to the transport sector in Liberia. Let's hear what he said when he was presenting them.
Okay.
Ecobank has been here for a long, long time, and they have been involved in quite a number of activities, financing activities that will carry on. As a matter of fact, they are even financing the yellow machine that will soon be our ministers of the gospel who will support us. I want to thank you all for being here. This is not a keynote address. It's a matter of assuring the Liberian people that this is the Liberian people time. It's a time for people to take ownership of our country, to enjoy the benefit of our country, and to celebrate the beginning of a time that is dedicated to serving our people. I want to thank the NTA with the help of the Minister, Transport, ABK, and all of you here with the Honorable Joe Gibson. Deputy Minister and the Minister of the young lady sitting next to me. Thank to all of you. Thank to our elders. Today is a fulfillment of every time we say something is happening, they say will not happen. Ain't happen. Because we didn't come here to lie to the people. We have told you that we didn't come here to be president. We came here to change leadership of this country, to put in leadership that will serve the people. And so you can go to the southeast and it's going to be even better. You can go to Lofa. Even during the rainy season, it's not going to go back. I don't care what you say, it's going to just get better. So we want to say thanks to the motorcycle riders and the keke. We shouldn't forget people who stood in place when things were not happening. They are the ones who provided transportation when the things were difficult. We're just telling them that, and I tell them often, your future is not in motorcycle. Your children's future is not in motorcycle. Your young people will create space for you. But you go to the hospitals now, the number of accident cases for motorcycles, they are trapped. These are young people that belong to this country. So what we're trying to say is not to marginalize them, is to see how we can realign them with the development of the country for their own safety and their future. And we intend to do that. So today we want to thank them in a big way for their contribution in times when we needed them very much. And we still need them. But we also want an environment in which visitors come and investors, that our people will ride decently. They can ride in style. They can ride safely on their road. And their children. You know what it means for you to be putting some of these young ladies going to school, put them on the motorbikes and all of this, and even for yourself. So we want to thank all of those who have contributed in time past to make sure we are where we are. The buses that you see, unlike those that you know before, are not going to be buses that the government will go and take for private use. It's not going to happen. If the government does that, they will have to pay. It will not be free. They are buses for use for the people. I'm going to make that clear. Yesterday we had a meeting with the entity to make sure that maintenance is put in place, to make sure that the collection system is put in place, to make sure that stopping places. In other countries you go, they call it the 2 o'clock bus. It will be there 2 o'clock. Because if you have somewhere to go, you can time it with a bus. We hope that we get to that the bus will be there. And the buses have to go out of town. They must have a system in Banga or somewhere where they will be maintained. As to say that bus break down, gotta bring it down. We discussed all of that yesterday. And also we discussed the issue of payment. Sometimes money can be tempting, but we launched the digital program here, and we said the same way you buy a SIM card, you can pay the same. Now, I'm happy that I'm hearing that that's the method. Teach our people how to do it and help them. So we want to give the Liberian people the life that they deserve. And we are not joking about it. You can take it other way, but we are very serious. All of the ministers you see here, people you see, are people who are committed. Today when I say, oh, this thing is happening, don't worry. Things that have been happening 10, 15, 20 years, they can change overnight. We're going to make sure that this country move in the direction that will serve our people, that will put dignity on the lives of our people, that will make sure that and for that reason, you see a lot of things happening. We came, it was not too long, Ethiopian Airlines came back. You'll soon see other airlines coming back to serve our people, make sure. I show people now who have to go to China, don't have to make several stops. They go direct. The job of government is to serve the people, to make sure that you make life better for the people. And that's what we are committed to do. We are doing it, but we ask for the cooperation of society. Even as the buses come, orderliness, trying to enter, we made sure that the different routes for smaller communities where big buses can't go, smaller ones will be going. Even to the extent that we want to have an arrangement where government offices can be provided with buses maintained by the same group, so that the minister's problem will not be whether I'm sending you to the garage, so they will take full responsibility to make sure that our people are respected, they are provided for. So today we are here to launch these buses. And in particular, when I'm riding, like going to Tottenham, you see small children on the sidewalk. And I'm always thinking, what if a car ran up the road? So there are a lot of ways that we're thinking about. One is that, as you heard, we're going to build more elementary schools shortly, so that at these schools are within They won't just be elementary schools, they will be built to standard, they will be built with computer programs so our children can begin to learn. And I hope sometime we can find a way we can help them to minimize the risk of them being run into. And so Liberia is on the move, and this time around, I think to serve the people. And that's what we're going to do. So today, we are here to launch these buses. They're not, but to start with. And I will think that, and not think, I'm going to say that this time around, before they can come, the road to St. Paul Bridge.
So, Mr. Abu, you listen to that 10-minute audio of the president doing today's dedication of the buses. And before you come in, I took key things into consideration. One was he cautioned Liberians to take their time in how they will, use the bus in terms of entering the bus. It's also a form of ourselves being able to maintain, public things, especially public entities and public vehicles. He talked about the maintenance as well. Sometimes when these buses go mounts, they end up all breaking down the highway, and you have to have the NTA team coming from Monrovia to go as far as way Maryland to get one of the many buses that will be going that particular route to commute people across to Maryland is also a key thing that I think the president took into consideration, and it's something that we all needs to look at as well. And I think it was actually a great speech by President Boyka today.
Yes, you see, there is something we have to start looking at. One thing from the beginning is that the president said, we did not come here to lie to the people, but we bring to the leaders, we bring you leadership that will serve the people. The government is not going to provide everything, but they enhance your capacity to receive these services. The buses have come. The president absolutely said he came. Some people, I know people were booing today. Those who were booing, you know why they were booing? Most of them were motorbike riders and keke because they think they are going out of business. But the president decided to make a special commendation to them. He told them, thank you because you were there at a time we really needed transportation. Now these ones have come. It is government's responsibility to enhance and to bring in these transportations to help the people. He also talked about the safety that was involved with the motorbikes and other things. And many a time when we talk to the people who were motorbike riders, many of them said, we don't have jobs, this is why we are doing this. But they forgot to know that they were providing services that people were really appreciating. The president did mention also that yes, you provided the services, but Liberia will have to go beyond this. Tourists are going to come, guests are going to come. Many of them in their countries, they wouldn't be riding motorbikes. So if they come, they have to ride motorbikes. That's going to be a safety problem for most of them. And some of these young people who were saying that they did not have jobs, that's why they were doing it, the president assured them and told them that keep yourself to a higher level. Don't think motorbike is the only job that you can have. There will be better jobs that will come your way. Don't take this as something that we have taken food from your mouth. These things do happen. And he said he wanted an environment. What will it look like, William? In the morning, you see a lady of a man sitting behind a motorbike with 3 little kids, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, going to kindergarten, elementary school, riding on a motorbike. You know, so now it is something that the government has done to boost the morale of the people, that a little child can get onto a bus and have their own seat going. Instead of these motorbikes, we will ride the motorbikes, but let the motorbikes be in the corners and leave these bus routes. Now, the president has traveled before and he knows about the Western countries. He specifically told us that these buses are not for private use. When we say private use, we are not saying that William McGill is going to have this bus as a day. But these buses are not the buses we are going to take to get to Ministry of Finance. We say Ministry of Finance for the workers. For Ministry of Information, we say this for the workers. For the University of Liberia, we say for this. If it's even going to be assigned or given to the university, they are not going to ride it free. They will have to pay money because these buses have to be maintained. We are the same one that are talking that the budget is going way up, but these are the things that contribute to that budget. So these buses coming is more or less a fulfillment of the desire of this government's agenda to uplift the life of the people. Now, so he said for environmental, let's say guests coming. Now, there was another thing he was concerned about. Maintenance and the issue of payment. We should maintain these buses, not only having the garage in Monrovia for them. If you are going to ride a bus from Monrovia to Harper, at least there should be a hub somewhere in Banga. There should be a hub in Ganta and maybe in Swedru, where you can easily tow the bus to for it to be repaired. Or when it reaches to these places, the mechanics there will look at the bus and say that it is fit to continue the journey. You have the hubs in Monrovia. Maybe MTA yard is good, but there must also be another place where the buses can easily be maintained. And another thing the president put mouth on is about the collection. The collection. And in the collection, Bill, if you remember just a few days ago when I was talking about these buses coming, I did recommend that we use a digital system. And the president specifically mentioned that people are buying SIM cards. So we are seeing, he said that there is already introduced a digital system. So you have to buy these tickets from somewhere else and come around on the bus. Just how you are buying the SIM card to put into your SIM into your phone. Just how you are buying your data. So these bus tickets must be protected. You know, I know as time goes on, there may be duplication. But if these things are happening, there should be a something we call a check and balance. You are out there, you are using a bus ticket. Don't allow somebody to sell to you a fake ticket, because when you enter on the bus, if it is a fake ticket, it's not going to be there and you'll not be able to travel on that day. And we're not expecting, the president did talk about orderliness. If you come with your ticket and your ticket is not valid, they tell you your ticket is not valid, there's no way you can stand at a bus gate and try to stop everybody going because you are not going. I'm saying this because we still have people who feel they are lost unto themselves. They will stand and hold the bus and say the bus will not go, and not allow people. I know it has already started in Monrovia. When the KW is coming, I see people already standing online to go, you know. So this orderliness, the president, I mean, just like he was an old bus driver or he was running transport before, that's how the president presenting the thing. He knows every little problem or every challenges that are going to come with these buses coming, you know. So he said he wants an environment Now he says when he was going, when they're going to Bombay Hills, he also mentioned while we're talking about transport, the president said they are going to build many elementary schools because the foundation for our children is very important. And once they have these people going to school, and he said there will be computers, they will learn computers in the little schools in a little way too. But these bosses, the president was very particular that he wants to give the Liberian people the life that they desire. I want to give the Liberian people the life that they desire. What the Liberian people deserve is a good life, a life without too many challenges, or where we can solve problems, where we find solutions to some of the problems, where Liberians are going to know that it is not only the government that has the solution to all the problems. This is why in the first branch of government, people select or elect their representatives who go there to help to solve their problem. So for these bosses, this company that brought it, they did the financing. They will need the money. The president is very particular about this because he has said that the same company is the company that is going to bring in the yellow machines. Did he say that right, Bill? The president said that this company, how do they call it, AB or something?
ABK Incorporated.
ABK Incorporated. They are doing very nice, to pre-finance and all these things to be able to get maybe pass through the banks or other things to pay this money. But MTA must come out with decisions to run a transport system. The president talked about buses being on time. So you draw a schedule to the point that if you say from Monrovia to Banga, you leave Monrovia 10 o'clock, you calculate that by 10:45 or by 11 o'clock, you should be in Kakata. So people who are leaving from Banga to go further, they should be at the train station or at the bus station in Kakata at 5 o'clock, at 11 o'clock. And when the bus reaches there, you must have an ample time, 10 minutes, 5 minutes to go, then move on. The bus, people must be the one to wait for the buses. It is not the bus that will have to wait for you. These kind of things, Liberians will have to do it. But I believe the NTA needs a big public relations to teach the people on both audio and visual, to really tell them how the buses are going to be running. We must get away from those things where the University of Liberia say we don't have bus and this and that. No, there should be a bus or two buses. The bus leaves from main campus and going straight to Fendel and back. They're not going to wait for you. Where you have a time, the buses are running, but it's not a bus that you're going to ride free. A lot of people believe that anything that is government must be free. Government came to enhance your capacity so that you can have a better life, so that you can have a better country. We are the same one that said Liberia is more than 170 years old and we are still using the old things. Liberia remains that way, and Liberia should be pushed forward. Bill, you have anything to say?
Yeah. So basically, I think the president did a great job today. These voices, when they arrive into the country, a lot of people who know me to be, William as a journalist that work with Weast TV, always asking, when our buses will be out in the street and when they will start commuting to different destinations. And I think, like Mr. Abu said, a few key things the president said, and I just took them into serious consideration, and I reflected on our past discussion here on this very show. When we talk about the arrival of these buses into the country, when they were taken from the free port of Monrovia we talk about the maintenance, and the president said just before today he had a meeting, which is literally something we've witnessed since I started knowing myself as a boy coming up since early time. The maintenance of governmental materials of government entities are major issue for us as citizens and people who manage them. And I think President Boyka should be very drastic in terms of making some strong decision when these things are not maintained properly, because it is our own very money that government use, taxpayer money, and other money coming in from donations. Government use them to be able to fund these kind of projects, and we cannot have these bosses in the country, and after 2 3 years we have just one or two running. It will show a very bad sign for us as people, and as well as for the government, especially for the team at the transit authority, the NTA. So they have to be able to maintain these buses and find a better way to strategize as to how to generate revenue, because if you are equipped with 34 different buses currently, I think as an entity, you should be able to generate as enough revenue to be able to also handle some issue at your facility, because you have 34 buses. You might also have 34 other drivers, 34 conductors, or maybe more than that, that we have to be employed, that we need salaries. You can have these buses running, and you always want to depend on government budget before you be able to pay these people. I think uh, the reason why the government is going to ask people to pay is because of the maintenance, and to be able to have these people that will also be managing the affairs of these buses have something on their table. So these are things that needs to be looked at thoroughly from the managing director of the National Transit Authority, and to we as citizens to be able to manage these buses. And Mr. Abu, it surprised you to know that most of these buses, when they come into the country, we have uh, the bus is overloaded. You even have 10, 15 persons standing only because we want to go. And those people standing might not be given tickets or whatever means to enter the bus, because they're already standing. They're not counted for the seat. So I think it's also something that needs to be looked at, because I also feels like that's one reason why we've always have a problem that has to do with mismanagement of these buses in terms of maintenance. So again, it's a great move by this government, and we hope and pray that these buses can be able to serve us for the longest time. And it's not just these 34 buses. We also understood that smaller ones are also coming in the country, as well as trucks that will be able to take goods from rural Liberia to Montserrat, from market women's that will come and have their goods into Monrovia and sold and go back, and be able to do something great. So again, it's a great move, and I love all of the statement the president said in this dedication process of the buses. And I think if I would say, those are things that I expected personally for the president to see in terms of the maintenance, in terms of the financial situation, as to how people are going to be able to pay and have access to these buses. One thing I can say is that the NTA buses will be as much cheaper as compared to other commercial vehicles that we usually use in Monrovia.
That is going to be the major thing. Whatever happens, the Liberians like to complain, but if you're going to complain, sometimes most of the policies are going to be intended to solve those questions that will come up, like what you just stated, where we have people standing on the bus. Those things don't keep the bus going for a long time. And another thing is, if MTA got to employ the thing here in the United States, they have the Greyhound. The Greyhound travels all over the United States. And once you are in one state, let's say you are living from Washington, D.C., you're going to Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. Sometimes it comes to Philadelphia, and it has a place there it will stop. Sometimes the drivers change. Sometimes a driver lives in, let's say, Bangor, and he is actually like the second driver for the bus that is either going to Lofa or one that is going to Harper. So the one that driving from Monrovia sometimes to Bangor, he drives, he reaches there, he takes his things out, and the other person gets in. Because they do this so that the drivers are not going to be getting tired. So you'll be able to provide a safe ride for your people. So if all of these things are put into place, not having one driver driving from Monrovia straight to Wanyama, no. You drive from Monrovia, sometimes you reach to Zozo or you reach to Bangor, then another driver gets in. So that same driver may be standing by for any of the buses. It's just a matter of doing a good HR work to be able to do the scheduling. That's why I always talk about there's something we call transport engineering. Transport engineering is not you who make who do the mechanic work. You are not a mechanic. You are doing the routing of the buses and coincided with the time and other things. So with this, all of this, the ticketing, I think we should understand. Let's test the system. We know today people were booing, but that is not, I know many of them. The president said he wants to give a higher thing to our motorbike riders. You are still going to be there. We'll recognize you that you were there when we did not have these things that are coming. It's just the same thing when government is ready to start. You remember during campaigns, they will do all the campaign. The people who make this noise in the street are not the ones sometimes at the end when the government take over. Then they bring people from abroad. They bring people who were never talking. But those people who are not talking, they were very relevant. There are things that they were doing that were very important, So in this case, we say that these bosses, let's watch it for the next 1, 2, 3 months. Let's give them a 90-day time. Let them see what they will do straight and what is not being done straight. So I just want to call on that. I call on the MTA authorities to please understand that this is a great task. Many of you who are working there have never owned a car on your own, have never owned maybe a motorbike on your own. Now you are giving a fleet of 34 buses, and maybe they say they are going to reach to 60. You'll be controlling those fleets, So it will have a lot of things to do. They will have a lot of people to employ. So you young people who are out there now, maybe riding motorbike, MTA could be a good place. There will be people who will need to be cleaning the buses. When the bus reaches, they clean it so that they give yourself maybe 1 hour. They should be able to clean that bus and it's ready for the next route. So these are things that people will have to do. Please, Liberians, let's understand this as a great thing that has happened, and let's not understand it as something that they have done to come and eliminate a particular group of people, but it's intended to help everyone in Liberia. Okay, Bill, let's go to the next one. What happened to Red Light today?
Let me just bring this clip. Is a voice clip from Front Page Africa, and this guy follows from the Supreme Court. He's a judicial reporter for Front Page Africa. So I just want to bring this clip from the eviction process today, and soon we done with it, we be able to talk more about everything that happened. So credit to Front Page Africa, a reporter, for this clip.
Confusion early Thursday morning, November 13. It was a scene of chaos and confusion early Thursday morning, November 13, in Pinsville's Red Light to Pakapim community. A court-order eviction turned violent, leading to multiple arrests and a temporary disruption of business activities. A team from Civil Law Court B, backed by officers of the Liberia National Police, had gone to enforce an eviction order against occupants linked to one Keita claiming ownership which includes several mosques and stores. But things quickly turned chaotic when the occupant allegedly resisted a court order to evict, hurling stones and even petrol bombs at the court officers and police. Some were seen atop the building, brandishing cutlasses as they attempted to drive the officers away. The violence soon spilled over as bystanders reportedly joined in attacking those who resisted the court order. At least 8 people were arrested, one of whom was seriously wounded and rushed to a nearby medical facility for treatment. During the confrontation, the occupants set ablaze one store, but the Liberia National Fire Service swiftly intervened to prevent further destruction. Reinforcement from the Liberia National Police later moved in, firing tear gas to disperse the crowd and restore order. The 8 people who were eventually arrested are now in police custody as investigations continue. Thursday clash temporarily halted normal business and vehicle movement along the Besse-Pinsville corridor. But by May afternoon, calm had been restored, leaving behind the skies of yet another land dispute turned violent. From Front Page Africa, this.
Yeah, so quickly before we go, somebody is asking, Madam Julie Pewala is saying, hope those drivers will be tested for drugs and alcohol. We hope it worked that way.
No. I mean, that should be a major thing that should be considered, not by the drug enforcement. I mean, all they have to do is to cooperate either with the national police, where there is a lab that they do drug testing. That anybody who is wanting an employment, who wants an employment with the Monrovia Transit Authority, must be drug tested. If you fail the drug test, you have failed the job. Even when you come to the job, you have to know that you come to the job, it's not going to, because they also have to make sure that this institute, that particular lab is equipped enough, because there are some drugs that when they take those drugs, they normally don't show. Okay, something like marijuana, you can take marijuana today, it takes like 30 days in your system. Anytime within 30 days, you do the test, it will show. But there are some other drugs, I don't know about Kush and other things, that when you take them, I don't know whether it can show in the system. But we need to have a proper system, because we don't want somebody to go who is a conductor, he takes marijuana or he takes alcohol and drugs and comes to misbehave to the customers. Customer service is very important on these buses. We don't want the drivers to drink or to even go and use drugs, use narcotics, and go on the highway and go dump the entire group. What is going to be a tragedy for the country. So I think these should be things that should be taken into consideration. I actually called on Mr. Noah Gibson to please make sure he is the one responsible for most of these things, to make sure that these are put into policy for anybody who is coming to work with MTA that will have to do with the buses. Let them all be tested. Thank you, Julie Periwala. That's a very good observation, and that's very necessary. Now, let's come to this man here. That report was very, very active. I think he explained it as how I saw it today. But then we come in. Why are people who got nothing to do with court enforcement of rates for eviction and other things, why do they get involved? Is it because they have nothing to do? Because the court of public opinion in Liberia takes over the president of the court that is at the Temple of Justice. Something happens, somebody stands there, and we just decide to condemn it. Even to the point that when the court passes a verdict, some of them say somebody bribed, somebody did it. It cannot be like that. This case they're talking about, it has happened. I know there was not one day they went to this court. I know they have been on this case for a good while, where they have been saying that you have to evict the people. Because
They have, Mr. Abu, before you continue on, we spoke with one Abdullah So. He's one of the tenants, if I would say, or he rents one of the stores there, and he said this case has been going on for the past 2 years now. 2 years now since he been there, and to the extent that they even had to pay their rent to the court. He showed a receipt during our live video where he paid 500 United States dollars. So this is not something that just started today, and to the point that when the sheriff along with the police went to carry on the eviction process, we saw most of these stores were already empty, meaning that these people were already aware because Mr. So said they have come 2 times to inform them about the eviction process because we asked, why is your store empty? And he said, we've been informed twice. And I think today should make it the third time that the police, along with the sheriff, are coming to evict everyone out of this building. I think that our country, Liberia, we as citizens are always trying, not trying, but we are always being violent to law enforcers, and it shows no sense of patriotism. And every time we say we pledge allegiance to a country that we love, because you cannot say you're a citizen that respect law and order in this country, and you have a ruling from the court, and the process is come uh, to be carried on by the relevant authority, and you want to obstruct justice. We saw these people burning tires. We saw these people carrying on so many activities that went against the rules and regulations of this country. And I was actually telling somebody, I say, if I was the police IG, or the chief justice, or whoever big in the justice system, these kind of people will have to face a length of time in prison for always wanting to obstruct justice, and try to. We witnessed one of the sheriff being burned, and he has some blazer mark just from today's process. What if somebody who is just trying to carry on a process that is being asked to carry on by the law, lost their life in that process? I think it's not fair. We as Liberians should come to a point that we can understand that you know the law is the law, and we should always learn to respect the law despite of whatever decision it comes out to. I think they do have process or processes when you are not certified with any ruling or decision, you should be able to go at the Supreme Court and make an appeal to further look at your case.
you see, the thing is that most of these land cases are not things that start one time. That particular place, why did the people? Because I understand that people were in the locality in a particular structure and throwing stones at the police, and people from behind the police were throwing stones at them. Why do we have to do this? Every time, I don't know. There are some people who will tell you, oh, and they gave us this place here, then where do you want us to go? No, it doesn't belong to you. You don't have to be in Monrovia. Why do you want to be compensated? You took a risk. Mr. So has been making money out of that place. And maybe from the time they got to understand that land is not for him, and the person who owns the land said he was not going to compromise, they were still in court. So he told her, no, I'm not taking money from there. Any money you got, please carry it to the court. So they've been dealing with the court. He is right. But notwithstanding, the court did give you a time to relocate yourself. Many of them move the things and they say, oh, the government is nothing will come after it. And some of them, maybe they're even bypassing the court, either the Queensway Magisterial Court, bypassing it and coming to Temple of Justice or going to Ministry of Justice, thinking that they can go bribe people so that the decision will not be implemented. And this is something that Liberians should do. The same way as these people who are on the right of way of the traffic. When the Minister of Public Works come and mark your house, either you are in the right of way traffic, sometimes, or because of what we call eminent domain, government wants to use that particular route, or government wants to use it. So these particular things for the base, for the essence of development, these places need to be broken down. And they're not just, they give you months and months and months, and they allow you. At the day they come to do it is the day you want to present it as if it is just starting for the first time. And many of them, they even invite them, come meet us to Public Works. Come, let's talk about it. And they will tell them exactly that place is there. They will start an argument from there, and they will continue the argument. Do we need bulldozers to be breaking down these buildings? Do we need bulldozers? Why can't we understand that this is it? That's what was happening. Let's see a little bit of it.
So this clip comes from some of the disadvantaged youth who were out there wanting to take advantage of some of the people who their property was thrown out of the facility, and the police didn't give them chance to go there and take these people property. So they were chanting various slogans. Some of them were sacked because most of the people who occupy that space were all from the Muslim background. So they were chanting various slogans, and some of them even says it was very bad for these people to start throwing stones at the police. They were the same people when these people were throwing stones at the police. They were also throwing stones back at these people, and it was some serious chaotic situation there this morning, Mr. Abu.
Yeah, I mean, if to say for any reason they have not completed removing the items from in the stores, they should have easily negotiated and tell them, can you people please give us one more week? But I know they have given them enough time and told them to relocate and to move their things. Many of them moved their things and they still wanted to stay in there. They come and sell the business in a day because they feel that their customers know where they are, and that's the only place. You can relocate. We know relocating will affect your business, but it will be a temporary effect that it will give to your business. So let's look at this thing. In these cases, most of the time, people bring in sentiments. The Fuller people against the Liberian people. Fuller people have taken over everything. Fuller men did not have those lands. It is our own Liberian people who sold the land to them. They sold the land to them, and the people took over. Then it becomes, the Maringo people, they are these people. No, these are not the people. It is the law that is taking this effect. It is the law. The people took the time and ignored the law. If you ignore the law will come down on you. But I just want to say thank you, a great thanks to the Liberian National Police and the Joint Security that was there today. I saw them very effective. The 8 people that were arrested, I know the law will take its course either for obstruction of justice, for something else that they should have been doing. But at the same time, when they set Aston ablaze, I'm very happy that the Liberian Fire Service was there on time and were able to quench that fire. So you see, people are seeing things working. It is not in the way now where you say, oh, fire catch this place, you call fire brigade, they come there, they wait for 2 hours before they go look for water to bring it. But this, they told the man had in his report that they were there today and they quenched the fire immediately and did not allow it to have the entire vicinity burned down. So we say kudos to the fire service. They did very well. So if these things are happening in our country, many things that we could see happening, I mean, they have been minimized now. If fire service could reach there immediately and put it out, it was good. The police were there. People say, oh, why are the police shooting, how to call it thing, the smoke canisters?
Yes, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, the tear gas. Why are they shooting it? Yes, when you do not want to be controlled, tear gas is not going to kill you. It's intended to demobilize you. It demobilizes you. So you start running away. Nobody wants smoke in their faces. So if they did not do that today, they were not going to be able to control that crowd because the crowd had two intents. First, why they must go there to break the places. And another group was there, they wanted to go to loot.
Mhm.
And once the police were there, we say kudos to the police too. They all did very well. And as he announced, right after a few hours, calm was restored. And if we can just continue to have this kind of thing, we know we'll always have little things. If there's something else that will happen, the crowd you saw there today will not go there because there are many people who wouldn't want the fire brigade to come in, who wouldn't want the smoke canisters to be discharged on them. So I think that was very good today. But we just want to talk to our people, our Liberians, that the court of public justice or the court of public opinion is not always the right court. Let's listen to what is coming from the main court at the Court of Justice and the various magisterial courts around the country. Let's agree to the people. If you do not agree, you can decide to appeal your case. But if you do not work, they mark your house, they say you need to move, you move. Find a way. The best thing you can negotiate is to ask the people to give you time, and as they're giving you time, you must be making an effort that you want to move. But when at a certain point you say you're not going to move, that's when the bulldozer comes in. That's when they come to throw your things out. So I still feel that Liberia is a great country and things we are getting there. 32 buses or 34 buses were commissioned today, and maybe within the next few days, you'll see a lot of things will start happening. So I want to say thank you to the government, and I want to say thank you. That's all I have to say for tonight. We say thank you to all the viewers. Billy Piwala, you are out there. We say thank you. Howard Natukalan, we say thank you. Quid Bailey, we say thank you. And all of our viewers who are out there who join us this evening on this show. So we'll say thank you. My name remains Samuel Abu. We look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, with another and trending program where we'll be talking about trending issues in Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abu, for coming on. We appreciate all of our viewers for coming to be a part of tonight's presentation. It's our final presentation for this week, where we head up for the weekend, and next week, Tuesday, will be on the air beginning at 10 p.m. Liberia time, or better still, 5 p.m. the US time. And we live on Facebook, Wiz TV, YouTube, Wiz TV, and we also have our new page, Wiz TV online as well. Continuing to follow all of our pages as we will continue to update you with happening across Liberia. We are also here to cover all of your events in Liberia and the US as well. My name is William McGill. Do have yourself a joyous and a wonderful night. Bye bye.